as what evolved as what as apes, or just like did we come from the sea?
No, we're
Like
definitely the descendants of apes that lived in Africa. Almost certainly, Homo erectus is our direct ancestor.
so how do you explain like the Chinese? They have slanted eyes. And then you have the Europeans. They have blue eyes or
So we're
blonde.
all right. So, um, we don't know precisely when, but around 80,000 years ago, maybe only about 60,000 years ago, a small group of humans left Africa. Now they would have left out of North Africa, right? North Africans are effectively Caucasian. A lot of them, like when you see people who are Egyptian, they
Yeah.
have much paler skin than what your typical ignorant white person it thinks is somebody from Africa, right?
Right.
So they spread around, and so everybody that now the world is so crazy because of human migration, whatever. But like 1,000 years ago, everybody living where they lived was the descendants of a really small group of people who left Africa. Most humans remained in Africa. A small group left. Now, the ones that left eventually multiplied, they reproduced to become more numerous than the people living in Africa. But they're genetically far more homogenous. We know that through genetic testing. Now, why do people look different? Well, different climates favor very slightly different, like we call them phenotypes, like the way you look or whatever.
Right.
But also, there's also humans. There's a degree of sexual selection. People have preferences, right? It's like, for example, in Tasmania, the little island south of Australia, that's as far away from the equator as northern Italy is, and people
Right.
from northern Italy are fairly pale, right? But people that lived in Tasmania had very, very dark skin. It's probably because there was, for whatever reason, a personal preference for that. So nothing wrong with that. It's just the way people are, I guess. But yeah, again, different environments just cause different changes. Sometimes there's not really a reason for the changes, just random drift happens. Hold on, I gotta pause my game. But other times there are like genuine reasons for it. So
No, I wish we had a time machine that we can go back and see how we actually evolved. That will never happen, but it's kind of weird because I mean, you look at like fishes, you have sharks, you have different types of sharks. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just like animals. We are like animals as well, which I know that. But, that from an ape kind of thing, that doesn't make sense to me that we evolved as, part of an ape thing. It's just kind of strange that, we still have apes that haven't evolved. In other words,
well,
they're like
we're no.
furthest
They all
behind.
evolved too. Uh, a million years ago, none of the modern day living apes existed. They're the descendants of different things from the past, also.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, don't you find it kind of like strange that, we still have, there are apes that we do have in zoos and stuff like that, but they ain't never evolved. I mean, they just
No, they
stayed
did.
as apes. You know what I'm saying?
No, they
Like,
did evolve.
in what sense? What do you mean? They evolved? They're apes.
Yeah,
They're, oh,
we're apes too. Millions of years ago, there were no chimpanzees on planet Earth. They
no,
evolved.
but how do you explain that? I mean, we're humans. We call ourselves humans, of course. I mean, we can think, we can imagine. Apes can't. Because if they did, they would be able to invent things and create things.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
they just think differently than us. I have no doubt that
Nah,
apes think.
no, because no.
If they couldn't think, they couldn't plan, and they definitely plan. They solve problems. They can be taught to use sign language. They
Well,
can
that's
suffer.
that.
They
Well, that's
definitely
different.
think.
They're being no. That's different because their IQ is not as close as ours. In no way.
Yeah,
I
of
mean, you
course, that
can
doesn't
teach
mean that they
them
can't
certain
think.
right. No, well, the way they think is like an animal way. Like, okay, it's an instinct. kind of thing. Like in other words, birds when they hatch an egg, they know what to do. They know
Chimps
where to
can
go get the
solve
food.
puzzles that they've never seen before. They can
Well, that's
think.
because they're being educated. You
No,
know what I'm saying? They're trying to
no,
be educated.
they can solve puzzles they've never seen before.
Yeah, but to a certain capacity. They can't really solve everything like we can. You know what
There
I'm
are
saying?
there are so many things we can't solve either. But yeah, we
Well,
are
but
smarter than them. I'm
yeah,
not
we
saying you're
are
wrong
exactly
about that.
right. But what you're saying that we evolved as apes, that that just
We
doesn't.
are apes.
Nah, I mean, I don't see it the same. It just doesn't make any sense. You know what
We
I'm
have
saying?
the we're 98.6% genetically similar
I mean,
to like a
apes. I
chimpanzee, for
haven't seen.
example.
I haven't
We have
seen.
the same
Well,
bones in the same arrangement, just
yeah,
different
no, because
proportions.
yeah, but I haven't seen. Okay, so in other words, if that was the case, you see Chinese apes. You see, different apes with like, with blonde. Like in other words, the Planet of the Apes. They had the, that
There
was all the.
there are bonobos and chimpanzees and gibbons and orangutans and eastern lowland gorillas and silverback
Yeah, but they
gorillas.
never evolved. They never evolved to
Yes,
like.
they did because they didn't used to exist.
I don't understand when you say they didn't. I mean, they didn't exist. Of course, like we didn't exist either.
Okay, let me say I usually use language to make these analogies make sense because evolution can be complicated. English came from a proto-Germanic language. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. Right?
So if English came from German, why didn't German change? Because English didn't come from German, it came from a Proto Germanic language. Modern day speakers of German are not where English speakers, that is not the language that English speakers used to speak. It was a completely different language that both of them are related to. Apes that live today, other than us, chimps, orangutans, bonobos, gorillas, gibbons, they evolved because a long time ago they didn't exist. They have ancestors in the past that are different species. Eventually they evolved and became what they are today. They evolved too. They just evolved into something different. Everything evolves into something different.
Well, I know that, but like the dinosaurs, for once the dinosaurs ended, that's where we came in.
Not,
You agree on that?
no. Humans have
You
been around for
don't?
300,000 years. Dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago. Mammals coexisted with dinosaurs all the way through.
So you're saying that we as humans we lived with the dinosaurs?
No, I just said we evolved 300,000 years ago. They went extinct 66 million years ago.
Yeah, right. So
Mammals have been around for 220-ish million years, maybe a little more.
right, yeah. But like I mean, I just don't see how we evolved from ape to humans. Just doesn't.
We
I
are
just don't see it.
apes.
I don't. You keep saying that we are apes. I just don't see it. I see it differently. I mean, it's apes have a certain capacity of learning things.
Yes,
You
and
know,
so do we.
Right. Well, no, because we can still learn. We can still. We've
So
reached.
can they.
So, not at all. Not at all. Not by
Yes, they
themselves.
can. We are
Not
better
by
at it.
themselves. Not
Okay.
by themselves.
You know
Apes.
what? Here. Okay.
I haven't seen an ape build a house.
Let's have a different argument. Here's my argument. Chimpanzees don't have thumbs. There. Argue with me. I assume you think that they do. I say that they don't. Chimpanzees do not have thumbs.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah.
Are you trolling?
No, I'm I'm not at all. Chimpanzees, they have a certain capacity to learn.
That's not the argument. My argument is that chimpanzees do not have. Okay, you know what? Chimpanzees don't even have hands. There. That is my argument. Do you think
How
that
can-
they do have hands?
Of course, they do have hands.
Okay, they don't though. Because guess what? No chimpanzee ever texted on a cell phone. So they don't have hands.
They do have hands. How would they
No,
eat?
no. What are you talking about? Have you ever seen a chimpanzee send a text message? That's what you do with hands. They don't have hands.
They. That doesn't make any sense. They do have
Of course, it doesn't make any sense. So when you say chimpanzees can't learn just because they don't do the exact same
not by
kind of
themselves,
cognitive
not
tasks
by themselves,
that we do,
not
your
by
point is
themselves.
completely
Yeah, not by themselves.
moot.
Do you understand what I mean by that? They cannot learn by themselves. They're taught.
Yes,
They're
they
shown how to do something.
can.
They're followers. They can follow certain things, but not everything.
Have you ever done anything that you didn't learn?
Of
How did
course,
you learn English? Were you
of course.
born in the Pacific Ocean and raised by tuna, but then just one day you started speaking English?
No, no. We're all educated. We all learn by some
Exactly.
fun
And so
through
are they.
Yeah, well, how come they can't build a house by themselves? Or they can't build anything by themselves? They can't do anything but
Therefore, they don't have hands because they don't build houses with them.
that doesn't make any sense. That
I know it doesn't make any sense.
they have hands, so they do have
No,
hands.
they don't because they don't build houses with their hands.
No, just that no, the brain does not work for them to build a house to be smart enough how to go puzzling it in, how to build it. You know what I'm saying? They
The
can't just
fact that they don't
map it.
use cell phones means that they don't have hands.
Cell phone? No, come on, man. You're bringing in a
The
cell phone.
fact that they don't build houses means they
They
don't
they can they
even
can hold
think.
they can hold an axe. They can hold
Right?
a tool.
No, that's
They can
not
hold
how
a
that
hammer.
works.
They can hold a hammer just like we can, but they don't. They wouldn't know how to use it unless they're taught how to use it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Therefore, what?
What?
Therefore, what?
They're not. Of course, they're not. They're. You're saying they evolved. They evolved as what? They're just apes. They're never going to evolve to anything further. Because they like I'm saying, their brain is not as the capacity of their brain is not as like ours that we
So
can.
what? We're not as strong as they are either.
What do you? That's totally different. What we're trying to.
It's
What I'm
not
trying
different.
to.
It's just not the thing that you thought of.
No, it's not that I thought of. It's just it's reality. It's just
Yes,
like
it's reality that they're stronger than
the,
us. It's
if
reality
I if
that we
I let's
think
say
differently
let's
than
just
they
say
do.
let's just say that if time would pass and I see an ape build a house, then I can say, okay, we evolved as humans. Why? Because you can see that they are able to think by themselves and be able to build things on their own.
They
That
can think.
they think of no, they can
Yes,
think of the
they
instinct.
can. No
No,
organism could possibly navigate its environment and manipulate its
no.
environment if they didn't have the capacity to think.
They can think into a certain way as they were as apes. In other words, they know what to do,
Yeah, they
just
think
like animals
differently than
can.
we do, but they think.
If they
They
think,
have thoughts. They're the
they
next most
they
intelligent
all have
creatures on this
thoughts.
planet.
Like they all like dogs dream, cats dreams, animals, dream, but to a certain capacity. They can't really do much as what we can. You understand what I'm saying? They're not
So
as smart as we
what?
are.
I know they're
So
not as smart as we are. They're the
right, so that's
second
what I'm
smartest
saying.
group of animals on the planet, probably.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I can't see how we evolved as an ape to humans. That doesn't make sense because we do have apes in existence that can't even do much of what they're taught to do.
Can a chihuahua hunt down a caribou?
No,
Therefore, are they not related to wolves? Are they not the descendants of wolves? Because a wolf can do that.
well, wolf can't. Well, that's because they, for whatever reason, they were made that way to think
And for
to do
whatever
that.
reason, humans evolved in a different way. We have greater mental capacities. That doesn't mean that we're not animals and we're not apes, and that doesn't mean that other apes can't think. They're just
Okay, well,
different.
okay. Let me ask you something. Do you think we came? I mean, we're from the Earth. Do you believe that we're everything that's living is from the Earth?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I believe that too. So basically, yeah, we, all the resources, everything that's from the earth is made from us. Like we've invented and we've created TV, phone, everything. Okay, apes can't do that. You know, that's why I'm telling you, it just doesn't make sense that how we from apes we evolved to humans just does not. I don't know. It just doesn't make it. I just don't see how that could have happened.
I
And like I
once
say, in
saw a
every region,
chihuahua.
like around the earth, around the globe, there's different areas where, yeah, you have the Chinese, you have the Europeans, that that is something that you can't say, okay, they were apes at one point.
I should have quit after Chinese ape, but
Okay. Well, I don't want to sound stupid.